Welcome to What's on the Menu, where you can tune in live on Boston Praise Radio 102.9 FM, or you can watch us on Boston Praise Radio and TV and What's on the Menu Boston.com, Facebook, and YouTube. We air live every first and third Sunday of the month. This week's topic, What's on the Menu? The Research Show. And here's your host, Oprah Winfrey.
Oh, here we go. She threw a curveball, Reverend Wall. She told me I was going to be pork chop today, but now I'm Oprah. But you know what? I will take that with grace. Yes, I would love to be Oprah. Yes, I would. The male version, the female, I will be Oprah all day long. So, folks, it's good to be back. I had a little hiatus there, myself and Gail. We were off in Aruba, having a good time, and on the beach and drinking pina coladas like it was orange juice in the morning. And it was a good time. What do you think, Gil? Did you have a good time out there? Splendid.
Fabulous.
Splendid. That's a retired educator. She could have just said it was fine. It was good. Splendid. It was splendid. Okay, so today's show, we have a substitute for my man, James Jizzy Levesque. He is not here today. He's taking care of his child down in New York, little Jay. What's up, my man? Hope all is going well, and hope school is going well for you in New York. We have one of our producers taking his place today, and I have my own names. Oh, that's right. She didn't think that was coming. Cheryl Spence, better known as Queen Elizabeth, is here with us in the studio today. Queen Elizabeth, could you say a few words?
Hello.
And she's also the white Angela Davis. Say hello to that one, too.
Hello.
Okay, we're both the same voice. All right, today, so she got all worried. You should have saw the look on her face, folks, when she was wondering what I was going to call her. So we have some great panelists here today. Today's show, we're just going to be all over the place, kind of like, we're doing a remix, kind of like a freestyle rap song. We're just going to talk about a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and just be all over the world having a good time. It's a holiday. We hope that most of you are in the house listening to us. So we're just going to be all over the place. But coming back, she's back once again in the studio. One of our most favorite on-air personalities in the house. She told me to get this right. She goes by the name of, now James would call you a vegan, wouldn't he? That's what, I didn't say that. I said James would say that. She's here, Miss Kimberly Lau, and she is just a strategist. She's just strategy. Say hello, Kimberly.
Hi, I'm the resident vegan, even though I'm not really a vegan.
The resident vegan.
Yeah, the vegan haircut.
That's what he would call. That's what he would say.
Absolutely. And she brought along one of her friends today. Her friend looked so scared, like a deer in the headlights, when I told her that the cameras was on. But I think she'll be all right. She goes by the name of Erica Thompson Mosley, and she is a property manager. Say hello to the folks, Erica.
Hello. Good afternoon.
Oh, you gotta come on. You gotta be. She's hello, just so nice. Nice. We need you to get down and dirty today, cause we're gonna talk about all kind of stuff. We have a new timer, a first timer, a new timer coming on the show. This is her first time. One of my girls' best friends. They go way back. And she, you can tell when she answers. You know, I said, how do you want me to introduce you? I used teacher and some other words, but she said educator. So you want to make sure you get this right. She goes by the name of Miss Robin Williams, and she is a retired educator.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
All right.
Yeah.
That's so splendid. That was splendid. All right. And our producers are sitting in today. They're sitting and they put all that work in behind the scenes and getting things done. But we have another retired educator. She goes by the name of Gail Forbes Harris, resident producer of our show, What's on the Menu.
He told me that, educators, I'm an educator, so I use the word splendid. So now I'm just going to say I'm lit and ready.
Oh, there we go. That's where we need to get down and dirty. That's where we got to go with this show. There we go.
Right.
Next on the air, we have my girl. She's the Queen Elizabeth. She's the white Angela Davis. She's here. She does a lot of behind the scenes stuff for us, gets things done. We're all giving her the Queen wave. Miss Cheryl Spence, straight out of Jersey. Say hello.
Hello.
Oh, God. She said 3 words, all the same, since she's been on.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah, there you go. You're supposed to be co-host. You got to jump in here. So we're just going to jump in on a bunch of topics. I'm going to, initially go to Kimberly Lyle on this, but folks, just jump in when you feel comfortable. There's two important things, folks, that are coming up all around the nation. I think that most people are shaking their heads, and I'm going to go in order of priority. The most important thing that's coming up is happening next Sunday, and it's the start of the NFL.
Oh.
Yes, it is. And the most important thing in the world.
That's right.
And I saw Kimberly Lau make faces when I mentioned the Patriots. Can we talk a little bit about this Patriots dominance
team.
and Tom Terrific, please?
Great
Kimberly.
team.
All I'm saying is that's Trump's team.
Oh, my goodness.
Listen,
That's
I'm
the truth.
sorry,
That's the
but
But it's a
Mr.
great team.
Kraft?
That's why it's his team. It's
that's
a great
and his
team.
BFFs. Tom
It's
Brady
the
was
great
rocking
team.
that MAGA hat. We all saw it in a lot. I can't get on board. I
Come
can't get on board.
So we now care what our athletes do in the voting booth?
Well, I'm gonna have to speak up as a Patriots wonderful, wonderful fan.
Thank you. Splendid.
Way before Trump even thought about the Patriots were a good team.
There you go.
With or without him, so it makes no matter what he likes.
But
we
Robin,
know what we like.
I
That's
gotta-
True.
I
In
gotta-
fairness, I don't like the NFL. Period.
Oh, well,
Oh, my goodness.
yeah. So
Now
this is just my
that's
opportunity to
that's not
hate
your
a little
game,
bit
huh?
extra.
I'm
you
having
know?
labor pains. I'm
Yeah, I don't
having
like
labor
the NFL,
pains.
period.
You don't like the NFL. I'm having labor pains. Please
They're
help
one of the
me.
This is
biggest
just
black
me
employers that we
adding
have.
Oh, my God. There you go, Robin.
Excuse me. They're a big black employer,
go.
so we can't be
Yeah.
too mad
There
at
you
them,
go.
okay?
There
Yeah,
you go.
so are the prison system employs a lot of black people too. though.
Constituents.
They employ a lot of black people.
I don't
Prison
think
guards
there's any
and
Patriots in
correction
there.
officers.
There are
and all
no
kinds of
Patriots
stuff.
there.
Not yet. You
Not
got
no
that
more.
chung guy going.
Not no
Now,
more.
I just have to
Not
say,
right now.
I just want to go back with the Patriots for a second. Robin, you and I are probably the only ones in here around a certain age group that are not dyeing their hair to try to not prove that they're
did you notice that?
Same here, Robin. I was going bald. So no one. I said, you know what? If Reverend Wall can do it, I can do it. You know, if Reverend Wall can do it. But do you remember there was a time when the Patriots were horrible?
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness. I'd be the only one sitting in the stadium by myself. We won 2 games that year. It's 30 below. It's a blizzard. And I'm the only one out there watching us because I just want one more win. People don't know what it's like to go
I
through that.
remember
That's a
those
real
days.
fan.
That's when my father loved the Giants.
Oh, why did okay, Robert, we were doing well, then you had to bring that up. You had to bring up the Giants. I know my boys in New York are sitting back laughing.
Wow.
Oh, my.
We used to love the Giants because they're close.
Okay, so.
Yeah.
They're close. They're up like kind of New England kind
But
of.
they're in New Jersey though.
Oh, and that's where the
But
queen
they
is
used
from.
to not
But
be.
I didn't know that.
but
Okay.
See,
I
you
didn't
have to
know
know
that.
the whole
How
thing.
come,
Yeah, I
how
didn't
come
know that.
Erica hasn't said a word? Come on, Erica.
I mean, I'm here. I'm like literally. It's odd that I'm in between these two ladies because I'm like of both minds. I feel like yes, absolutely, the Patriots were here before
Be careful now, Erica. Be careful.
before 45,
Yolanda.
and they'll be here after, and his supporters will be gone, and we'll still be here. So we were here when they were a crappy team. And
I don't remember those days, Erica. I can't recall
As we
that.
previously
I can't
discussed.
recall that.
But I remember being a little kid and my mom having like a football party and family coming over and we watched it and ate food and it was what it was.
Okay.
So I mean, I always loved the Patriots itself because it meant things to me with my dad and my mom and just we've always liked it as a family and everything. But
I wanted to get you in the conversation. I
Yeah.
wanted to make sure you were here with us. You were watching it bounce
I
back
can
and
say
forth.
that one thing that did come out was that Giselle definitely wears the pants in that family because Tom Brady could not go to the White House when they won the Super Bowl. He was not allowed,
Right.
and she put her foot down. So
That-
she
that
wears
could
the pants.
be accurate.
She's the money winner in that family.
Okay,
so
that could be
That's right.
accurate.
you need to just sit back.
Okay,
Yeah.
but she doesn't wear the football pants. That's all I care about.
I don't
The
care.
football pants. She doesn't wear those,
All right,
Cheryl.
okay.
All right, she doesn't wear those. Let's get serious for a second. I was told that we had to talk about this topic. And Robin, I'm going to go directly to you, and please, producers, jump in the conversation as well.
Okay.
What do mommies need to know about getting ready for school?
Well, most of the time when children come to school, especially young children, it's their first introduction to an outside authority, including mommy. And we all have a wonderful, beautiful, most wonderful child in the world, but they're not always perceived as such by other people.
Okay.
Because they haven't seen the world. So I've had many mothers come to me the first day as a retired kindergarten teacher and say, Miss Williams.
Can I ask you, were they in slippers, pajama pants, half their head done?
Who's that, the moms?
Yeah.
Oh, not the beginning of the school year.
Okay.
Not the
I've had
beginning of the school
that
year.
on the first day.
No.
I've had that on the first day.
Moms are
Got
pretty
cussed out.
good at the beginning.
Okay.
Until they understand what the deal is.
Okay.
Who signs you in late, who picks the child up from the cafeteria. Those once they get the lay of the land, then things become slack. But moms, understand, everybody loves your child. We wouldn't be doing this job if we didn't love your child. So don't come to school mad. I know summer was short, and camp was short, and money's short. But teachers have lives too.
Sure.
So when you come in to see that, whoever that may be, that they've dedicated time, money, their whole families to getting ready for your child to have the best life they can have. That's what we want to do.
Yeah, and folks, speak
So
of
don't
what,
be mad at us if we ask you to do certain things like
Sure.
homework. You got to do homework, okay? And homework is not just the child's work; that's everybody's
Sure.
work. But
Yeah.
don't do it for them now.
Yeah. What
That
have
kind
you
of
experienced
thing.
in that
Yeah,
situation?
ooh, we know.
Being a retired teacher.
I should say retired teacher, principal, parent, and I guess when I think about it, a gambit of things. I've had some great experiences with some great families, and I've had some crazy experiences with some great families. Because really, the bottom line is that you really want to work with these young people and get them ready for school and
Be
prep them
successful.
and be right to really just prepare them so that they can take on the role of being productive citizens
That's what we want.
in school
That's
once
what we
they've
want.
graduated.
And
So
you know-
it's tough.
And you know what? I have to say this too. One thing that's so important that parents have to realize: begin preparing your child before they come to school. Learning the alphabet, a little bit of reading, understanding the rules.
Understand your real name. Your name is not Boo Boo. Your name was Boo Boo all summer. Now your name is whatever it was in the birth certificate. And don't get mad at school if we don't know that. Okay, so there's a lot of assumptions that are made. I've met so many mommies at their first experience at school. It's daunting. There's a lot going on.
Sure.
And people do want to get in your business. They want to make sure your child's getting what they need. So don't be mad. I've had too many mommies. I've had to calm down and say, yo, sis, come here. Look, don't be mad, okay?
That's
All right.
right.
I can't help that your son didn't toilet train all summer. No one's gonna wipe his boo boo
Oh,
when
he
he
got
gets
to
to
go
school.
home. He got to go home. He got to go back home.
But see, that's not a requirement.
No, it-
requirement.
That's my school. That's
They're
my school. He
required
got to
to
go
know
back
how
home.
to toilet themselves, but some folks don't know how to wipe that well.
That's right.
So they're screaming your name, Mrs.
And-
Williams, come help me. I said, what happened?
Wow, I didn't know that.
can you
Realize
like me?
that teachers had to.
Yeah, and let me say to
Like that.
parents.
What?
Let me
People
also
don't remember.
let me also say to parents too. Our teachers are wonderful. All right, they can and cannot at times work miracles. So just remember, your child goes to school for a certain amount of time during the day. You have to do things with your child after school
And
to prepare your
also-
child and to move them up. But we're gonna move on to one other topic. I'll let you say
There's
one
one
other
other
thing.
thing. There are a lot of households that have a lot of relationship issues. And some of those things don't come up until the children begin to go to school. So, Mom, if you're having issues at home that's quite personal, you can speak with your teacher, you can speak with the school nurse, you can speak with the school social worker. And I say that from the fact of this. For 2 years in a row, maybe 10 years ago, I had 2 moms who were the victims of domestic abuse in September. That's because no one else had ever been in that household to give them assistance. So if you need help, don't feel bad about coming to school nurse, the principal, the teacher. We're there to help you.
There you go. So, folks, realize that there's all types of resources available to you. Utilize them. Just let's make sure our kids, our loved ones, have a good school year this year. Let's talk about something that's impacted our community and blacks as a whole. And I'm not just talking about locally. I'm talking about all over this country. Folks, talk to me. What is going on with black-on-black crime?
Jealousy.
I would say what's going on with it is that it's intraracial crime, just like all other crimes, most other crimes are. So we don't have more black on black crime than there is white on white crime or Asian crime.
Well, when we speak
people
about,
tend to
when we
kill
speak about,
each other, like, you know, in their group.
Sure, but when we talk about youth and young adult homicides, that is a black problem that's happening across the country. Everywhere, in all urban environments, you have black males killing black males. I've done this work for I don't know how long now, and even though I'm around it, I see it. I don't understand it. It just doesn't make any sense whatsoever, and it doesn't make sense that we as a community tolerate it.
Well, I can tell you from the experience of being somebody that was a very, very troubled young person and got into a lot of legal issues, and it was really rooted in anger and frustration about circumstances that happened in my family. I don't think that black people tolerate anything more than anybody else does, but there are limitations that we have. You can't, nobody could have stopped. I had very loving parents, caring parents who try to do all kinds of things for me. That did not stop me from wanting to act out in a certain kind of way. And so if you exacerbate that with things like poverty, if you recognize the fact that other people, like kids, are traumatized and they experience all these other things, there has to be some kind of outlet. And there's like a pent up frustration and a pent up anger that happens, and it plays out that way.
I guess with the black on black crime is where are they getting the guns from? I see a lot of there's a lot of organizations now saying that their girlfriends or significant others are getting these guns in their names and then giving them to them, the men, to shoot them. Is that true? I'm not really sure.
I think it's a lot of from like things I've read, it's a lot of cross state things, like you can go to other states where there's less it's easier to get one, and so you bring it in here and then it becomes the issue.
And as we talk about that particular issue, I guess when we have shows like this, I want to hear people talk about, well, what are the solutions? What are the solutions to black on crime?
Stop manufacturing so many guns.
Yeah.
We have states that have made a lot of money off of guns. Connecticut's made a lot of money off of guns. There's a lot of gun manufacturing in that state. There are a lot of places. I mean, if I go to Kentucky, visit my cousins in Kentucky, each household has an average of 16 guns per household. It's very simple to get a gun. Somebody comes to visit, they bring you a gun.
I'm of a different opinion. I really don't think it's the gun, it's the person. I mean, when you cut yourself with a razor, do you blame yourself or you blame the razor?
It's and I have to agree with Cheryl. I hear the NRA and the president talk about a lot of things, but it's the person. And I like to believe too. We have to. I don't want to.
High capacity guns I could see, but most of the time it's just a simple handgun.
We have to train and develop our own families and our own kids better. I like to believe that growing up, if my son were to be offered an opportunity to take a gun, bring it to my house or to his mother's house, that he wouldn't do it. Mm-hmm. He's like, that's not what I do. I'm not going to be a part of that. Mm-hmm. Which makes me kind of transition to what I think part of the problem is and what we need to do to adjust the black man. What is the black man doing in the black community? Is he doing enough, ladies, in the black community to stop these things from happening? And if not, what does the black man need to do more of in the black community? Now, women, this is your turn to tear up the black man. Tear him up.
That's for y'all to decide. I really feel like
I'd like to hear from a woman's perspective.
I feel like that's something that. Sorry.
That's just it. I don't really think it's an issue of to sit here and talk about black men and what black men don't do and what black men should do.
How about what we need to do?
Or what they need to do. Because the reality of it is that we all know the things that we need to do. And we need to be able to work in harmony. We need to be able to have an understanding about what it is that we want for a better life in the sense of that. So for myself, I'm not going to sit here and say what I think black men should do, because what I do understand and believe fully is that all people on earth come through a woman. Men come through a woman. Women birth men. In other words, when I say that, what I'm really looking at and thinking about is where are our heads at? So then let's start there, treating women treating women like women should be treated, and they're queens. I do believe that. They're responsible for raising children. They're responsible for raising children, and those children are men.
Yeah.
And those children grow to be men, I should say. They're young boys. I mean, but how in that sense, once you're raised or once you're born into a situation and you're within a family unit, and whatever the family unit may be, because it's not nowadays, and it's been for quite some time, there are women who are raising two-parent families, two women. Two men, two black, white, or whatever it is. But it's that you really just have to start to treat people in the way that they should be treated. Everyone should be respected no matter what. And we don't have that. We don't have so much disrespect in the world.
So is there anyone that thinks that's the male's presence in the black community doesn't need to be upgraded and everything's fine?
Well, when people use guns, a lot of times they're very angry. It's not, you don't use a gun to go to wave and shake somebody's hand. When you get to that point of anger, where do we help children get the tools, or folks to get the tools to communicate that anger? Because everybody gets angry doesn't go out and get a gun and shoot somebody. We've all been mad, but we don't pick up a gun or we don't take a knife and stab somebody. Because see, a lot of times you'll see some of this crime is changing too.
But you know what I'm saying?
But anger.
There is a small percentage. And once again, I'm going to go back to this before we move on. Okay. We're talking about young black men across this country. I'm not even going to go worldwide. Across this country, picking up guns and shooting other black men that look just like them.
There's a big part of it that is, I think I've heard the term toxic masculinity, and I think that's a big part of it. So anybody can be upset, anybody can have rage or whatever, but I think there's something about people who are socialized as girls and women that there's kind of more of a emotional support system. There's more of an outlet for your feelings and for your anger. So I can talk to a mother or a grandmother or aunts or friends about these different emotions that I'm feeling, and I don't get the sense that boys and men have those same kind of outlets. So if you're dealing with all of these different traumas and anger and hurt and all these other things, but there's not a mechanism for you to be able to process that stuff in a certain way, it just seems like it's a recipe for you exhibiting those behaviors in a not productive way.
You know what I recently I read an article that a woman had wrote and said that the majority of young black men if they're being raised by a single black woman, she's bashing men. Like, she's basically saying this brother's no good, this one's no good, and then the boys get this mentality that another black man's not good, and that's they attack.
So
I just feel like that's so stereotypical of black women. That's highly stereotypical.
We're gonna shift out of this conversation and go to something else. But I'm gonna say to black men, we can always do more. We need to do more. There's something going on with our young boys going on in these communities, whether it's your son or not. Get actively involved. Figure out what we can do to move our young men forward.
And if you need help, don't feel bad if you need help.
That's right. Don't feel bad about it. Let's move on to the next issue, which we're going to transition. We're going to stand into our gender conversation. A woman's presence in this country. Where are we at with women nowadays? We talk about, we're seeing all types of things that maybe people would not think that would happen. We see all these women getting elected into public office. We see women in men's professional sports teams' locker rooms. We see women doing all sorts of things that maybe would not have dreamt of. We did see President Obama be the woman to become president. What is the women's presence now? What's going on with women around here? Talk to me.
We're killing it. That's
we need to get paid.
Pay us.
Women aren't getting paid. They need to get paid.
That sounds like Shonda Rhimes. We getting paid out here, huh? What's going on with women? Come on, talk. Speak up, women. You have the microphone in front of you. Can a woman become president?
Of course.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't think so.
There
I
are
don't
women
think so.
presidents.
You
There are
have no
women
money.
presidents in the world right now. There are countries that are run
You
led
talking
by
about the
women.
United States, Kimberly?
Well,
A
a
black
black
man
man
named
can.
Barack Hussein Obama became
Listen.
president.
That's a black man. Now. That's a black man.
Well,
I'm talking about can a woman make
If
it?
men got over themselves, then a woman could be president. Absolutely.
Can a woman carry that ball across the goal line and become president?
Yes, I
It's
mean-
football season. Everything I say there is going to be about
Just
football.
recently, the woman from the U.S. soccer team
Right.
was offered a position at the NFL.
But
She
they
had
don't
the
want to
long-
pay her.
Kicker.
Longest kicker.
They don't want to.
Yeah,
men
guys,
don't
they
want to
don't
give
wanna
up the
pay.
pocketbook. They don't.
I'm sorry, Robin. There's no equal. There's no equal pay
United
because
States was
she's a
built on
woman.
my back.
kicking
I
the
can
field
say
goal.
that.
She
Yes, it
ain't
was.
never kicked one successful
America
field
was built
goal,
for the black
and you
woman
want to
and
pay her the
back.
same
I
amount.
don't care. I want my money. I
It's
earn my
true.
money. I want my money. I produce all these
Can you
people
kick a field
that-
goal, Robin?
Probably.
Can you kick a
Depends
field
what day it
goal?
is.
Yeah,
Depends
you
what
can.
day where I
Yes,
have a
you can.
On Sunday or Monday
I don't do
night.
that. So I watch the
Yeah.
brothers hit.
How about Monday night? Monday night, either Sunday or Monday night.
I can do
Kick a
it
field.
Thursday.
Okay. Oh, you know your football.
You know what it is? Men's issue is the same thing that happens with white people are doing to black people and other people of color, right? So it's a power thing. Men are used to being on top. Y'all the ones with the power. You're the ones with the money. And they don't want to make a way. Every time they see women making this progress, it's a fear of,
Makes them
oh my
crazy.
goodness, that means now there's not about to be a spot for me. And it's no different than the way that white people are acting in America right now. And this
So-
is why we see this backlash.
So it took a while. Things are happening, moving slowly. But why? How's these things changing? Why is this women's presence in the world changing? Where is the success that is occurring? Where is it coming from? And will the momentum continue? Will we continue to see women in other professional fields or whatever it might be in different arenas or that we've never seen them before?
See-
Or is this just a phase?
See, fellas are weak, first of all, physically. When my son was born,
See,
as a
I
preemie,
gave the opportunity to talk about men.
let me out. Here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
When my son was born, he was 2.9 pounds. Okay, and a guy came in, a black man came in, a doctor. He said he was doing a study on the fragility of the human. And he said he was studying which babies had the most, strength. He said the strongest baby that there is a black female. So she's gonna.
Oh, here we go. I ain't never seen that in medical records.
After the black female baby that fought the hardest was the white female baby.
Oh, here we go.
And this is statistical. This was at the hospital.
At what hospital?
After that,
Wow, I
women's
just
lying
made
in
this
and then
up.
became
You just
Brigham and Women's.
pointed-
Watch
you
it.
just
Watch it
pointed
now.
and
You
said
finish
the
this up.
hospital.
You
What
finish this up.
hospital?
After that was first there's that. No, it was the black female, then the white female, then the black male, and the laziest baby who wanted everyone to do it for them was the white male. Okay, because they knew someone was going to pick them up because he was the white male.
Okay.
So
Are we talking about men? We're talking about the
talking
women's
about-
presence in the world.
black people are strong. We're gonna be all right.
Women's presence. Come
Women's
on,
gonna
ladies.
make it, though. Women's
Come on.
gonna make it.
I gave you a chance
I
to
know
talk about
it's
the
not
men.
just a phase. I will say that.
Okay.
It's definitely not just a phase.
That's right.
What do women see? What do you see other women conquering right now? That's just a tough hurdle for women to get through.
I think the construction industry. I've seen a lot more women on the bus now.
Absolutely.
Going to construction sites, which
Absolutely.
is a good thing.
Where else? Where
And
else?
police
folks?
officers,
Yeah, I think that
Civil
makes a
servants.
difference.
civil
Yeah.
servants.
Okay, okay. So let's move on. I'm going to stick with women, and this is an issue that happens in the community. I think we walk by it every day like it doesn't even exist. What do folks? What do you think? What do you feel when you see women prostituting themselves?
It needs to be legalized,
Do you think so?
and the people partaking in it need to be protected. Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Why do you believe that?
Because when something is legal, it can be regulated in a better way, and it protects the people involved. Right now, with prostitution being illegal here, the women involved, are not protected, and they have to rely on, if not themselves, then another person that might be harming them, but might be less harmed than, somebody else off the street.
So you feel? So your feeling somewhat is the woman selling and the gentleman buying, no, gentleman, the man buying,
The person.
yeah, the person buying, there should be no fault on either side. No penalty flag. Yeah, I told you, I'm good. I'm gonna use football with everything. No penalty flag on the play.
I'm on board with that. I fully agree with that. That it should be decriminalized. And I mean, I literally see prostitution in front of my house every single day. I live at a hot spot for prostitution in Roxbury, and truly you can see that the women are being controlled by men who are pimps.
Hostage.
And a lot of the women, you can tell they're under significant influence of drugs, and sometimes, I mean, like, you can see their mind state is not even there. And so they are being taken advantage of, and I think that if you regulate something like that, there are more protections, and then you create a safer kind of industry, because people are gonna exchange money for sex forever, because they've been doing that forever.
Literally.
So it's not gonna stop because it's illegal. So I think making it legal is one way of making it safer for women to participate in, and whomever to participate in it. And I think if we also remember that there is legal prostitution in other parts of the world, like, this is not a new thing.
Right.
It's just
Denmark,
kind of new for
lot in
us,
Europe.
I think.
You know, I'm actually doing some work around that now, and I'm becoming very passionate around this work. I'm working with a woman by the name of Sherry Jimenez from CEASE, and on November 20th, it's going to be a national conference that we have where we're bringing folks in from all over the world to talk about just that, Kimberly, around the decriminalization of prostitution. And this one aspect of it believes the woman is a victim and the John should be arrested. There's another theory that neither one should be arrested. But, you know, I think that this is something that the community, you know, I've gone to meetings for I don't know how many years. I've never heard people talk about it in community meetings. It's kind of like it's we walk right by it, like, and we accept it, like, oh, that's Linda. She's just a neighborhood prostitute, and we don't think about the violence and the trauma and all the things that this woman is going through. And then on the other side of it, what about the young boys?
Right.
We got to get on them and make sure that they not. You know, that word pimping is a cool word nowadays. You know, I'm a pimp. I'm pimp this.
Big pimpin'.
These are pimp sneakers. You know, these are pimp this. You know, it's become a cool thing. I mean, to talk about in that aspect. But what else? Does anybody else have anything else to say about it? What we can do, what we need to do?
I want to just add, it's not something of what we can do, but I just want to add too that there are also male prostitute people who are prostituting. There are people who are non-gender binary who are having to sell themselves to provide for themselves. Like, you think about the LGBTQ community, you have a lot of young people who are being put out of their homes. They're out on the streets, and so that's a way that they have that they are using to support themselves. So I think it's broader than just, you know, people who identify as women. It's a thing
It's an
that
industry.
we need to stop sort of, you know, creating these environments where people are being pushed into these very exploitative, you know, kinds of ways of taking care of themselves. And I think if it's regulated, that might help it a little bit.
That's why I love Kimberly Lyle on the show. She always gives this fly perspective, kind of vegan perspective. I just had to throw that in. Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Flag on the play.
Gotta bring a piece of beef in
I
here.
know.
Come in next time with a rib. Have a rib while you're on the show.
Sandwich before I came up here.
We'll give you that Burger King.
goodness.
It's not made
Oh,
with
goodness.
That's vegan.
Hold up, can't mention Burger King. They're not a sponsor. If you're not a sponsor, we're talking
Well, it
about
comes
Burger
without
King.
me.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's talk two other things very quickly before we hear from our sponsors. And I'm going to put these two together for part of the general conversation. Boston's black social life. All right, there you go. We have no social
just
life.
say
And
that
number
because
two,
of my age.
And number two, blacks supporting blacks. You know, I hear all the time that blacks don't support blacks in Boston. Is that Boston? Is it the rest of the country? Boston's black social life and blacks supporting blacks. Talk about it, ladies.
Well, you have you're always doing something social, so you're black and you're always social.
Right.
Yeah,
I don't see a problem with it.
yeah, that's the only way
You're
that you
always
can
going
get.
to the hub. You're always
Yeah, yeah.
going here. You're
Yeah,
always
but
going
you
there.
know,
you got a
Fancy,
scooter.
fancy.
But the thing
Okay.
about it
Yeah,
is
scooter
I
and
have to
stuff.
create. Oh, you talking about my moped? See, that's a flag on the
Moped.
play. See? But you know, it seems as though if for me, I have to do something to get friends out into certain environments. There are some nice black establishments, Slade's for one crowd.
Advertising.
Daryl's Corner Bar and Grill for another crowd. But I'm just looking for something different,
And there's only 2 that we can mention like that.
Yeah.
And that doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't.
When I first came to Boston back in the 70s, there were a few places to go. And Boston was the party place to go in New England. If you lived in Connecticut, you went for the weekend to Boston. You don't do that now because that group of people, there's nowhere for a young black professional, in my opinion, because I have one living in my house, where she can spend her money and have a good time.
Sure.
This is a white boy's fun town. It's not made for y'all. It's not made for us. Because when I came to Boston, there was a real thought about where people could party. And it wasn't really a big problem. It has become as such because there's nothing. There's nothing. It's disappointing.
Yeah,
I used to go down on Boylston Street. There's quite a few places to go. You don't have that now. And I feel that's a frustration.
Let me tell you what was frustrating too. And a couple of partners and I, we were doing our event over at the Verve when that was open at the Hampton Inn, black-owned hotel. We go over there and it was tough. We gave free parking. We have a live band. At one point, you have to pay for the band. You're not paying for parking. It's going to be a certain type of crowd. Everybody that walked through the door wanted a deal. Can I get a deal, brother? Can I get a deal, black man?
Right. You want to say, what is that?
I have to pay the band.
What is that?
And it wasn't, not necessarily did we think we were going to make a lot of money. We'd like to make something, but we wanted to do something that was nice and at least make our money back. And people wanted a deal. They'd come sometime. They wouldn't come sometime. It just got to the point it became so frustrating. I said, I can't do this. People come through the door. They want me to give them free drink tickets.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if you don't have any money, you need to go home.
Right.
If you can't afford to buy yourself a drink, go on home. Goodness gracious. But what do we need to do to create a social life here?
Well, sometimes when people go out there, they receive hassle. You receive a hassle. You receive a hassle about where to park. You receive a hassle about time. ID. Now, I've been so many places and I said, I'm going to card me. Fine, but do you think I'm playing with this gray hair?
Just making that up. I'm just coming out at 25 with gray hair.
Are put in the way. Like my daughter, who's in her early 30s, talks about that. She said, you go out, you got to go through it. You got to show ID to park your car for the valet. Come on now. But I don't know what to say about it. It's a frustrating point, but Boston has never really, as long as I've been here, it has not really been a welcoming place for people. Nah.
That's one of the most frustrating things. I'll tell you right now. Like, if I didn't, I moved back to Boston 10 years ago, and I did not plan on staying this long. I was like, I'm just going to stay here for a year, then I'm dipping back out. And the only reason I stayed is because my sister had a baby, and I love my nephew, and that's all great. If it wasn't for him, I'd leave, and it's a big part of it is because of the lack of the social life. There's so many times when I just want to go out and have a nice vibe and have a nice drink and, whatever, and there's so few places for us to go. And like you said, without the hassle of checking ID, without just all the stuff that comes with it. And I don't understand why. I know part of it has to do with the liquor licenses and how expensive it is, but it sucks. Like you said, it is like a white boy's playground. That's what it is. And there's nothing us.
I just want to be careful with those words that you use all year. We have to be careful. I want to say one thing too. I don't mind going to places that are white owned. I just like to see black folks out with me. Where as you mentioned, I like to go to the top of the hub. I like I like places that are nice like that. That's what I like. That's my style. I love Slade's too. When I want to go to Slade's and eat well and dance, that's where I go. I like to see different crowds. I like a crowd my age, 40 and over, but I want to see more professional. I wouldn't even care what age they are as long as you can see your own people sometime out at places. It makes it a lot more fun and when you're doing things, and it's something as Gail and I travel, You know, we're starting to travel to places too where there's more of a black vibe, more of an attitude it's geared for everybody. But you know that the majority of folks that live there look like you, have a little accent, don't have a Boston accent, but have their own. And we go there, and there's places that you can go eat food. You know, what soul food restaurants? What just to mix it up and be able to do some different things compared to being at home.
What I had to say, I'm sorry. One other thing, I never meant to stay here this long, but the quality of life in some other areas is so much better here than other places.
Absolutely.
I mean, I can sit here in Dog Boston now for a long time, but there are little pieces of quality. For instance, my mother fussed about, I had an old couch.
Did you say fussed?
Ooh,
That doesn't sound like an educator to me.
my
Fussed.
mother fussed me out. Y'all know what fussed
got
out.
that.
And I put
Don't
this
say
old
fitna.
couch on
Don't
the
say
front
fitna.
porch, on the front of my house. And she kept on saying, well, how much is it going to cost to get the couch taken? I said, Mommy, it doesn't cost anything. She said, no. In New Haven, we have to pay for it. I said, That's why I pay these high property taxes. I could put a kid outside, they take them away. But there are pieces of quality of life we have here in Boston. Other places don't have it. That's why
and one thing, too, that if any city even though I have different modes of transportation, I think what we judge our city on, too, is you don't need a car to get around here. People are walking the streets. You can get around and see people on streets. And this conversation has been flowing so much, we have gone past our time. Cheryl, tell us who our sponsors are. She always messes this up, ladies. And we're hoping she messes up right now. I think she is.
Sponsors: Urbanica Building Design, Eddie Jenkins Law, Callaway Graphics, Sweet Embers Bakery, J. Rockwell Sound Studio, Shun's Kitchen, Janie Construction, Leo Papil, George Kramer, Suya Joint, some anonymous donors. I also have to shout out to Jerry at Leading Ladies who does my hair.
Ooh, give us somebody.
Warren and Morley.
Oh, she got a special shout out, didn't she?
National sponsors: Better Belly, Chicago, Illinois; The Shop, Bethlehem, Pennsylvania; Apon Concept Productions in Miami, Florida; and Campaign Industries in Chicago, Illinois.
Oh, she made it. Let's have a little fun for a little while. Even though some of us don't act like we do, where can you get your favorite fast food burger? Where can you get it? Where is the best fast food burger out here? I'll start in. There's nothing better than a Wendy's burger.
Boy, hush.
There's nothing. Oh, you can't talk about those
double with
Wendy's.
cheese.
And they claim it's fresh, but sometimes it comes out the back. It looks a little frozen to me. But those burgers,
I'm going with Burger King.
oh, come on.
Flame broil.
Well, how about the fries? Where can you get the best fries?
McDonald's.
There you go. McDonald's
Sorry.
still controls that.
McDonald's
Burger
still
King
has
got some good fries. Burger King.
Hi, okay, so we're going to move on because we don't have a lot of time. I'm surprised how quick this is moving. A little bit serious about things right now. How do you consider, what is your criteria for considering someone to be a best friend? Do any of you have friends? Goodness gracious. You all must be some lonely folks, ain't you? Sitting around, a couple of y'all started tearing up and started crying. Like, oh, my friend is gone.
It just kind of happens, doesn't it? I mean, I don't know if I have criteria for a best friend. I think it just happens.
I'm sitting thinking the
I
same
have to
thing.
say that they
I'm
have
trying
to be
think.
there in the thick and the thin.
Yeah.
Thick and the thin.
You know,
Loyal.
I have best friends that fit into different categories too. Like I have one, just the best man I've ever known in my life, Thomas Patterson. Best man I've ever known in my life. Just always there for you, consistent. Just a great guy. Besides, when we were kids, he used to cheat at electronic football. You know, his men, back in the day, you had to plug it in, the men vibrated and moved around. His men were the only men would run straight out, but besides that, but then I got another best friend, Andrew Woods. You know, me and him fight like cats and dogs, call each other all kind of names, especially on Sunday during football season. But he's my man. I understand that, we've cried together, we've pledged together, we've done a lot of things in different ways that say that I know that these people will always be there for me. For me, friendship and that title has to be proven. I'm just not giving that away. And I just thought, even though I work with a lot of people and know a lot of people, I don't like to be around a whole lot of people. And when I am, I like to be around my best friends and Gail is definitely one of my best friends as well. We're recent, but I'm talking old school best friends. I've had a lot of friends over the years, and you know what? And then I'm throwing one more. My boy Paul Hood from New York. Met him in college, and we've been inseparable ever since. In college, they used to call him the Big B, and I was the Little B. That's how often we were together. I love his children. One of his daughters is my goddaughter. We just have a special bond. And if you notice too, sometimes your friends are just like you. If you're a friend of mine, you have got to be able to talk trash. If you can't talk trash, you can't hang out in our category. Because if you can't, we will jump onto you and dig into you, and you will have such a bad time being around us if you can't take it. Come on, ladies. What are your criteria for best friends?
Like I said, they're the thick and thin, and they'll stick by you. But later, they may say, "Hey, I stood by you that time, but you definitely were wrong." They have to be also be able to be honest, even when they have your back, and they have to, put you in check.
Okay. Anybody else?
I just think it's somebody who I know I can pick up the phone, and it doesn't matter if I haven't talked to you in 2 years. You're there for me. That's my friend. And I don't look at it like there's this gender kind of thing going on with friendship and things like that. But I just kind of imagine that, I look at women, they click together a little different, I think, than men do. I really do believe that.
I see women beefing with each other. I don't mess with that man.
No, I'm just saying, and then it's like more of that, and then it's different types. Because when there's, a lot of some friends that I've made, probably beyond my college years and things like that, and I shouldn't say friends. I guess I'm thinking about that. It's a lot to my children. Okay. And that's that mother kind of thing, because you embrace a lot of different things in your life, takes you through these different stages. But I look back at the friends that I've had and that I've made through life, I can just call them. I mean,
what did the kids have to do with that? I'm telling you, you got me confused over here. With
I'm saying that
it's a girl thing. Okay. All the women knew what was going on.
A lot of that does. I mean, it comes through that. It comes through just being there for you. And when I'm talking about, if something were to happen, and you look at that when as a younger woman and being a mother, and I'm a mother of 4 children, I looked at it. There are a couple of friends that I had, and I know that my children should something have happened to me, they would be there for me. Okay. They would be there for me, and they were there for my children. And that's the kind of thing I'm sorry.
I just don't think women have best friends. I just don't think that it works.
What did you say?
I'm sorry. What did I say? What did I say?
Oh, you're just trying to mess with me.
Okay, I just checking.
I have friends that I haven't spoken to. I may not speak to them for a long time, but when I see that phone number come up, I'm going to answer the phone. I don't care what time it is. I'm going to answer that phone because I know this person connects with me because that's who we are.
Okay.
My phone rang before. It was Tracy. I didn't pick it up.
That's supposed to be your best friend. She told the truth now. Yeah. She said she was asleep.
Me and my best friend have been friends for a minute, and we met when we were broke, so.
Oh, yeah.
We
Shannon, peanut butter and jelly.
That's also a big part of it, is like we met when we were in college, and we were kind of everybody else was a traditional student. We were not. She was a single mom, and she used to bring her kid to class, and I was like a working adult, but I was also in school, and we clicked, and we just, over 2+ decades, like we've been friends now for all this time, even as we've, grown and developed and had other successes. And she's one of the few people I'm still friends with that knew me when my car was breaking down on the highway and I didn't have $2 for gas.
Before you got a car.
Okay,
so
you know what?
There's a different.
You know what? And you know what? You're absolutely right. I could talk about college stories. Right. Me and my boy Paul, we wouldn't have a dime in our pocket, no food in the refrigerator. Let's get out here. We got to do our thing today. We got to figure this out. When you're down in the dumps at times and somebody's there with you and you fight through it, that is definitely a best friend. And folks out there, do not let that happen. Do not go through a period of, I'm not talking to them until he talks to me for 2, 3, 4 years. Then something happens and that best friend's gone and you never had a chance to say anything. But I want to bring up the best friend, I believe, we don't have much time, but I'm going to bring up what I believe is the best friend to a woman and it is called hair weave. What do you all think about hair weave?
Well, if you
Ladies.
look around this
I love
room
it.
right now, look at this room right now.
Okay, so
Talking to
just
the-
I
tell
love
me
it, though.
the
I
colors,
love it.
I
the colors, the versions. Some of it looks like it weighs about 50 pounds.
I know.
Why would they put
I
50
know.
pounds of fake hair on their microweaves? How long does it take to put a microwave in your? Those look like 7 million little braids.
Ask 4-5. He knows about weave.
Oh,
Okay.
What'd you
It
say?
does.
That's 45.
Oh,
Sure does.
hair weave ladies. What about hair? I wish I would have invented it.
I love
wish,
it.
oh my
Yeah.
I
goodness.
love it.
It's great.
It gives you can switch your
Versatile.
style up.
Yeah.
You know, I used to rock weaves and wigs and all kinds of things. You know, you want to change your hair color or, you know, you want to wear it differently. But I do feel like some people are going overboard with some of these.
Tell me
wigs.
what's an overdue
They're
hair
walking
weave.
around looking like Leo the Lion. It's not, you know,
Your main.
right. It's not flattering, but if it's done right, it can look really
Kimberly,
nice.
you are absolutely correct. When you go on vacation, you see all these women, the hair weave, like a Chaka Khan hair weave
Yeah.
coming out of everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I can't get it wet. I can't get the weave wet. Does weave work in water? Do they have waterproof weave?
Yes, they do.
They have waterproof weave.
Yes, they do.
You know,
Wet and wavy does.
okay, you know what, though?
Wavy,
When we
right.
go into
Wet
the
and
weave.
My big afro like
Okay,
that.
okay.
That's where I'm coming.
There you
That's my
go.
reference point.
So you know what we talk about the weave, but one thing I want to say too that I love that's happened, and this is around the young population. I love their culture. I love their style. They'll come out with their hair nappy, uncombed, but it's shaped up around the line. They got their pants hanging off their butts. Sneakers are like a statement to them. The belt, the shirt, everything matches. They got the braids lined up. They got the afro. They got the half an afro. They got half braid, half afro. Hold on, let me finish. Then you got the women that will bust out with blonde hair, blue hair, green hair, purple hair, lavender hair. I love everything about what these young people do. They have their own music. Oh my goodness. I'm still seeing shadows in my room. Can't take back the love that I gave you. That's right. I love everything about their music, the way they talk to each other. I love everything about the young culture. And why do adults try to talk trash to them and try to change their culture?
That's what old people do.
It's forever.
Job.
So
It's forever.
You know, I love everything about it.
Maybe maybe they shouldn't spend all their money on that sort of stuff and try to save for the future.
Yeah,
sounds like what my
Spend their mommy's
grandmother used to
money.
tell me
That's
when
not
I
no
was
real
15.
money.
She said she was born in the 60s, didn't she? She said she was born in the
Don't matter.
60s. You hear what Nana, that's your new name, Nana. You hear what Nana said? Yeah, but you should save your money.
Just like my grandmother.
Don't go to the concert.
To this day.
Remember when your mama said to you, you can't go to the Bootsy Collins concert?
See?
Save your money. Parliament. Who is Parliament? Oh, Queen
I bought my
Elizabeth.
tickets for me, see.
You know what I'm saying? Come
I
on.
even buy a Starbucks drink. My grandmother's like,
Oh, my
you
goodness,
could
I
own
would not.
Starbucks. You oh Lord, this.
I
Nana.
would never
But
pay
don't
that
you
much
think
money
though
for
that there's
Starbucks.
like a new? It's just like everything else. Grandmas did do that, you know, and
It's a new grandma
it's
now.
a new grandma in town. I'm
Yeah.
serious, and I'm
Grandma got on.
that new grandma
Hold
in
on,
town.
hold on. Let's talk about the new grandma. That grandma, new grandma with the weave and the blonde hair
And I'm
and
saying
the
that, you know.
headbands hanging down.
So and I can't put an age on anything because
Yeah.
Can't.
even when my kids were growing up, you know, I was listening to their music, and as a matter
love
of
all of
fact,
that music,
we
yeah.
would be in the car and the music would be playing.
Yup.
But also, I'm listening because I want to know what you do. You know, and I'm keeping up with that. So even now, and I'm looking at it, and I am that glamour because that's
Yeah.
who I am. It's a whole
Do that
different
again.
thing for me, and I don't see myself.
Yeah.
I see me as the glamour who wears these jeans,
Yep.
and
Yep.
who wears
Oh,
wears
here we
those fly
go.
sneakers
Here
if
we
that's what
go.
I choose
Yep.
to do,
Yep.
or wear my hair like I wear it
do.
because that's that new thing.
Yep.
It's not, and you can't, and it's not dated.
Well, let me
And
just
I
say
feel
one
like
thing,
you
ladies.
really can
Something-
relate to.
We have
people,
3 minutes
like,
to go,
your
ladies.
kids better.
Right.
And I'm going to give everyone,
you
every one of you a chance to say something for the closing. The only thing I can't stand to see some 60-year-old man with a sweatsuit on, his jacket hanging down low. He's got the white beater tank top on. He got a gold chain with a medallion. His hat to the side. His sneakers are open. I am angry at that man.
Don't talk about my uncle like that.
Oh,
Don't hate the player, hate the game.
Uncle Day Day. That's Uncle Day Day. She got an Uncle Day Day. Okay.
my
But
God.
listen, folks, this was a lot of fun today. We have a few minutes. I want to give each one of you an opportunity to say whatever you like about anything that you like. And we're going to go first with you. And I forgot you, Erica. Erica, you didn't say much today, Erica. Go ahead. What would you like to say to close out?
I have no idea. I hope everybody has a great weekend, and
You're so polite. You're so nice.
Okay. Robin, how about yourself?
Well, this is always fun to have
20
conversations
seconds.
with good folks. When I was younger, my family was the R&B family. They were the odd folks because they would take the whole family to go see James Brown. And we have to remember, we have to keep
Did
our
they-
culture
say it
going.
loud.
James Brown.
Say it loud.
Every time.
Say it
I
loud.
wish the children knew about red, black,
I'm black and
green.
I'm proud.
Black and I'm proud. That's
All right.
right. Keep it alive. But I just wish everyone knows red, black, and green, what that stands for. Don't let it go down as the colors don't match. Wear it.
Okay, I got you. Gail, producer, what do you have for us, honey?
What do I love? I love being black. I love black, and I love me, and I love black people, and I love the vibe they bring, and I love what they do, and how they speak, how they walk, how they talk. And I just want them to love themselves as much as I love them.
I love that as well. Thank you very much. Queen Elizabeth, the white Angela Turner. Hold on. And we got a new name, Nana. Go ahead, Nana.
says, just put yourself first and just love more. Love everybody more, you know.
Kimberly, our on-air personality. I love you to death, honey. Thank you for coming again. What do you have to say for us?
I want everybody to register to vote if they have not registered to vote, and vote in your local elections. And don't forget that we have to vote this guy out of here next year. So everybody needs to show up at the
You heard what
polls.
she said. James is not here today, Cheryl. Take us out, Cheryl.
All right, thanks for being here. Keep rocking, keep knocking.
Holla.
Holla at ya.
Thank you, ladies.
And we
Thank you.
did have a, oh, forget it.